My fiancée of 4 years randomly claimed I abused her and called the police. This came completely out of the blue. I honestly don't know what happened. A couple of days ago, my girlfriend who I lived with left our apartment while I was at work, claimed to her family and mutual friends that I had been physically abusing her, and blocked me on everything. I have no idea what's going on. There weren't any major problems in our relationship that I could see, and we just had consensual sex last night. The very last time I spoke to her before all of this happened, she was perfectly fine, kissed me goodbye before I went to work, and everything was normal. Then I got a call from my dad toward the end of the day, asking me calmly if I'd been hitting my girlfriend. I didn't know what he was talking about, and then she told me. I rushed home, and she had gotten all of her stuff and is staying either with her family or a friend of hers. My Facebook account is blowing up, and I have no idea what to do. None of what is being said is true, and I don't know if someone is just playing a cruel joke on me. A few people even mentioned that the police were called, but I haven't heard anything as of yet. The last major argument we had was probably in February, around Valentine's Day. We were going through some financial trouble, and the stress got to us, and we were both getting upset with each other over petty household things. She was my best friend, the person I could rely on to be there for me, and the person that I would be there for always, no matter what. We were definitely planning on getting married. It wasn't a matter of if, it was a matter of when. Her family had basically accepted me into the family. I was close with both her mum and her dad. I only called them both once each. Neither of them answered my calls. I called my, ex? Just twice. No answer. She blocked me on every social media platform of hers that I know of. I asked a couple of friends, but they are being distant with me. Just one-word answers, or ghosting me. What the hell is happening here? We'd always been upfront and honest with each other, and our communication was stellar. TLDR, I guess my girlfriend decided she wasn't happy in the relationship or something, and instead of breaking up with me, she left behind my back completely out of the blue and claimed to everyone that I've been physically abusing her. I have no idea what's going on. Now in the comments, this feels a lot like a writing prompt. OP, are you willing to answer some questions? I don't want to offend you, but the reality is, this sub is subjected to writing prompts with a worldview that this story would enforce, as well as the female version of this. I'm not saying this is definitely that, however, this is devoid of information to a point it could easily be that. I'm not some white knighter, but I hate propaganda, and this very well could be that. The questions I would have are, what was your reaction to this? How was your family and your friends' reaction to this? As in, how did the conversation with your father go? Did he believe you? What about your best male friend? Do you or your girlfriend have a history of mental illness? What are your theories on why this is happening, and what culture would you self-identify you and your girlfriend as? And OP replies, quote, what was your reaction to this? Confusion, and then panic. My heart started pounding. At first, it was difficult to think. I wanted to try to call her to see what the hell was going on, when I found out she blocked me on everything. I've been walking around with a huge pit in my stomach. Quote, what was your family and friends' reaction to this? How did the conversation with father go? Did he believe you? And what about best male friend? OP says, my dad calmly asked me if I'd been hitting her. I outright denied it, and he said, are you sure? That made me upset. Only a couple of friends reached out. Most are sort of staying out of it. I had 2 friends say, what the fuck were you thinking, before I tried to explain it to them. Over the past few hours, they seem to warm up, but I don't know. Other friends haven't really been saying anything, just distant or not responding much at all. I don't really have a best friend, but the one person I would closest describe as such seems to believe me. Just said, this is really screwed up. Do you or your girlfriend have a history of mental illness? OP says, I don't. As for her, not that I know of. I'm close with her family, and I know a lot about her childhood. Serious mental illnesses sound like a big thing to cover up. What are your theories on why this is happening? OP says, 1, this is a cruel joke. 2, she just wanted to break up without having a conversation, which would have been fine. No way I could have forced her to have a convo about it. Or 3, Someone convinced her that this was a good way to cover up other things that she wanted to do, like steal credit cards. This was suggested by other Redditors. I don't really believe this. What culture would you self-identify you and your girlfriend as? We are both culturally American. Her family is Hispanic, but have been in the USA for 3 generations now. It's possible she cheated and did this to control the narrative, to make you look bad. I hate to suggest it, but it's a possibility. It happened to me. This girl is either really naive. I refuse to believe this was a genuine prank that she didn't think would have real fucking consequences for all aspects of your life, to think this prank would work. Or she did it deliberately without a care of how this would affect you, knowing it's not true. Either way, do not tie yourself down to this woman. Do not try to contact her to talk and get to the bottom of this. She can spin that a bunch of different ways, all to make you look bad. If she unblocks you to contact you, you block her. Any chance she's been affected by carbon monoxide or something like schizophrenia? OP responds, probably not. I'd be messed up too. I don't know how schizophrenia works, but it seems like there would be some sign of it, of fine 1 second, go scorched earth on the entire life you built the next. I'm schizophrenic and I would never do this to anyone. I could not pull it off if I wanted to. She is avoidant and immature, and is victim playing to get attention and sympathy. This is a smear campaign, and it is not good for the OP to start diagnosing her with mental illness that would support her abuse lie. And now on to the update. Okay, so this is going to be a weird-ass update. I'm sorry if you guys thought this was going to be anything interesting. A friend came forward and told me that apparently my dumbass fiancé decided to play a prank on me. She had the bright idea of leaving the house for a couple of days to set up a surprise birthday party for me set for this weekend. I don't know what the fuck she was thinking, nor do I even really know the full story yet. She is not really the prank-playing type, and I guess thought this would be hilarious or something. It looks like a majority of those friends who were acting distant were in on it. After I started being upfront and honest with showing people my texts with her as this sub suggested, one of them told her that this wasn't cool and that if she didn't come clean, then he would. Well, she didn't come clean and he came forward. I guess that's why nobody was answering their texts. Anyway, I texted her and I told her that I knew, asked her what the fuck she was thinking. She started blowing up my phone apologizing. She said her prank just went too far and spiraled out of control when it got to social media, and that she didn't know how to come clean when she realized that it crossed a line. She also said that she didn't mean to let it come out that I was abusing her, and that she just wanted to make it seem like she left me, and that the abuse stuff was a rumor started by some other people who weren't in on her joke. I just didn't really respond to her. I left and went to my parents' house before she got back home. My family now thinks she's a fucking moron, so her relationship with them is ruined right before our marriage, so that's great. Our mutual friends are now split in half, with half of them thinking she's an idiot, and the other half feeling God knows what about the situation. I'm frankly embarrassed and feel stupid for wasting everyone's time and dragging them into my relationship with my fiancé. I don't really know where to go from here. I don't know if I should call off the wedding or postpone it and try to work out what the hell went through her mind. I'm sorry if this isn't the ending to the story that you were all hoping for. I'm having drinks and will be here all night feeling sorry for myself and answering comments for as long as I'm awake with this Jameson. Man, why the hell can't people just have normal birthdays? And OP replies, I actually laughed. One of my first thoughts on what to say to her before I actually spoke to her was, you know, just not telling me about the party would have been sufficient. Look, OP, I know what you should do and what you want to do are warring one another, but you have to take a second and do what we Libra are great at. Step outside yourself and look at the overall picture here. In her efforts to be funny, she convinced people that she was leaving you because of abuse. That isn't just a prank, that's the kind of thing that people go to jail and lose jobs over. There is nothing funny about it. If you wish to pursue a relationship with this woman, do so with the full knowledge of how far she takes jokes. So imagine how far she'll take something serious. Regardless of how much you love her, she has created turmoil that may end up costing you more than just your relationship. I'm sorry, won't fix it. won't make it better, won't make people forget, won't save your relationship with friends. Know that if you go through with the wedding after this, everyone is going to be wondering what next stunt she's willing to pull off, and that's if she confessed to all of them. For all you know, the only person that knows it was a prank are the friends that are in on it and you. That leaves a lot of people that still think you're an abusive prick that, at your wedding, will think she's marrying an abusive prick. Because plenty of people still marry their abusers. So, talk about awkward. The only way she can make it up is to come out publicly, social media included, to tell everyone it was a prank, and even then, you are likely to have someone that assumes that you are making her. I don't legitimately see any way this relationship can be salvaged that doesn't hurt you in the long run. And OP replies, I'm slightly happy to report that I reached out to a lot of friends, that most of the people are on my side here. I think the very worst of it are people telling me to let it go, but nobody believes I was abusing her. One of the girls in my group chat said she immediately didn't believe it the second she saw it. In my opinion, that's easy to say coming from someone who kept quiet until after it came out that it was a prank, but at the very least, I don't know of anyone who thinks I'm an actual abuser. I made sure to try to spread the word a bit to those that it reached outside of our mutual friend circle. This is a big yikes for me. Your girlfriend is an idiot and everyone knows it. First off, have you found out how her family is dealing with it? You said they didn't answer your calls in the previous post. Do they also think she's an idiot? And what the hell is up with her texts saying that she didn't think it would get out that you abused her? Ugh, newsflash, you don't abuse her. I think that the text was to justify what she did and to cover her ass. This experience will still help you find out who your real friends are. The ones who still don't know what to think aren't your real friends. Like, come on, she's 28 years old, not 15. She should know the consequences of her actions at this point. If you can, at least postpone the wedding. But in my opinion, pulling a stunt like this is a deal breaker. What she did made you look like a horrible person in the eyes of her friends and family. Let her face the repercussions of her actions. And OP replies, I haven't spoken to them at all. I'm actually going to call her dad today and see what's up. He's always been really cool to me, and I'm honestly really close with him. And to clarify, this was meant to be contained in a small group of people, but then one of her idiot friends put it on social media. That is what she meant by that. Don't tell me you're still gonna marry her. What the hell? And OP replies, at the very least, the wedding is postponed indefinitely. It's really not an easy decision to make after 4 years. I'm so sorry, man, but could you imagine what she thinks would be a great surprise party for her kids? Oh, we got a divorce a week before your birthday. Haha, just kidding. She would emotionally destroy her children with this type of behavior. And now on to the final update. So firstly, thanks for all of your input. I read and considered every single reply. First, I'll update you, then I'll tie up some loose ends from the comments in the previous post. I want to apologize for the bluntness of this post ahead of time, because despite your comments about me being calm and level-headed, I'm actually quite upset about the entire situation, and I feel like me sitting and thinking about it is only marinating this anger and making it more juicy and flavorful. I spoke to her in person after I posted my update. From her perspective, her original idea was to make it look like she just got mad or something, grabbed a few things, and left to her friend's house, where she was going to have the party thrown. Her friend has a really nice house that's perfect for a 20 to 30 person get-together. She was with her 2 friends, and made an off-the-cuff remark when her friend said, "What are you gonna say when he asks why?" And she said, "I don't know, I'll probably tell him that I feel like he got too serious when we had sex," or something like that. Then her other friend who was with her immediately took it to social media without the other 2 girls knowing, and then when they checked their phones later on that day, it was already a dumpster fire. I said, great, all that is understandable. Just one question. Why did you then block me and refuse to answer my calls? Because that seemed pretty fucking intentional to me. She said because she didn't want to throw her idiot friend under the bus and thought it would all go away if she just threw the party, and she hadn't realized how far it all went so quickly. I thanked her for telling me, and then I called off the wedding entirely. She cried, I cried, It was a goddamn mess. She asked where we go from here. I told her I don't know. I don't even know if the relationship is over yet, but I know that the engagement is over, and that if I decide to give it another chance, at the bare minimum, we need to build my trust for her from the ground up, if not the entire relationship. And now I have to decide if I want that. Do I want to spend another 4 years being undecided? If I'm being honest with myself, I imagine it taking another couple of years before I can trust her again. Do I want to get married and start thinking about having children at 35, 36, close to 40? I told her that I have a lot to think about. I spoke to her dad last night, and we shared a case of beers and had a conversation that lasted about 5 hours. My ex, ? Hasn't spoken to anyone, and has basically been locked up in her old bedroom for now. She's been crying a lot. I do believe that she is genuinely remorseful about all of this, which complicates things. Her dad caught wind of the situation on Facebook, but learned what was really going on maybe like an hour later. He had gotten my calls, but hadn't returned them because he called his daughter first. She told him, and he just didn't know what to say to her. He told her that she's not truly stupid, but that she has a history of sometimes not thinking about things before she says them, and the impact that her offhand remarks can have. He said this is the worst it's ever snowballed, but she's had situations in the past where she says something stupid or insulting and doesn't realize the impact of what she says until hours later when the other person blows up over it. So that's it. I still have a lot to think about. I know a lot of you guys are telling me that I have no balls for not literally tossing her out into traffic and laughing about it or something weird like that. But you have to understand that I still love her and have loved her for a few years now. Right now, I'm leaning toward moving on, but you're going to have to empathize with me here. As for my reputation, nobody thinks I'm an abuser. It's firmly out there now. Her reputation took a much more significant and lasting hit. I haven't lost any friends except for the idiot social media girl, whose reputation also took a severe hit. Nobody called the cops, all the other posts about it have been deleted, and everything is good. There is no real need for me to get a lawyer and sue anybody. My family agrees with a lot of you. They are 2 seconds away from slapping me upside the head for not immediately kicking her to the curb. Just give me some time. I'm not going to make another update post because I've already wasted too much of your time with this bullcrap. But maybe I'll just update this post a few days after I've decided what to do. So, she was more worried about the reputation of her friend than of the reputation of the man she wanted to marry and spend the rest of her life with? I'm sorry, but if that alone doesn't speak volumes about this girl, then I don't know what to tell you. I wish you good luck in the future, but if it was me, I would move on. This is not what I would want from a life partner. I think this is the most important result. In my eyes, she should have jumped all over her friend, made her apologize, and move on. The person she's going to marry should stack way above a random idiot friend. Bail, OP, this will happen again. Crap, according to her own father, this wasn't the first time. Paraphrasing what I've read, these episodes have only gotten progressively worse. OP can move on. OP's former ? Significant other will need to get some therapy. There are some underlying issues going on in that noggin. She's not truly stupid, but is a ringing endorsement if I've ever heard one. Yeah, her dad seems like a cool guy, but 28 is way too late to be learning that her actions have consequences. I don't think she actually values her friend over OP. I think she panicked, and protecting someone else sounds a lot better than I ran away. The reality is, though, that people learn a lot of very important lessons late in life, whether that's how to communicate without getting angry, how to be less arrogant, or yes, how to face difficult problems and take responsibility. Everyone matures with time. OP has zero obligation to stay with someone who feels he isn't mature enough to marry, or someone who doesn't share his values. But when it comes to the issues of maturity, people who want to change can, as long as they recognize what they need to fix and have the support necessary to take the harder path, where before they would have taken the easy way out. I have no idea what OP should do, but it doesn't sound like his fiancée is a bad person. It sounds like she just has some growing up to do. Why do people do stupid things like this when prepping for a surprise party? When my brother's ex-wife threw him one, I took him golfing to get him out of the house. When my friend's wife asked me to distract my friend and take him to her parents at a certain time, I took him out for a few birthday beers. You don't have to make people angry or sad in order for a surprise to work. Sometimes doing something nice can be the lead up to another nice thing. Exactly. My dad threw my mum a surprise birthday party once. It was her first birthday that we were celebrating after we moved to a new state for his job. Mum had been really depressed and missed living closer to her sister. He got my aunt to come over and keep her busy for the day, and then bring her home. It was a surprise for us too, as my dad literally told us the day of he was throwing Mummy a surprise party. Apparently he didn't trust us to keep it a secret. Can't say he was wrong. Alright, that's where I'm going to leave today's episode, guys. I do hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.